Okay, so we're now on page 10, and I just want to talk about some general information about examinations and quizzes. So my questions on the exams could be multiple choice, true and false, matching, fill in the blank, short answering, labeling, or any combination. Notice I didn't put any essay questions on here. This isn't an English course, so I'm not going to do that. Short answer is probably, you could probably answer the question in a sentence or two. That's about it. In most cases, you could probably do a fragment of, let's say, 4 or 5 words. So it's mostly that. The practical exams, it's all fill in the blank. My lecture exams and lecture quizzes are mostly multiple choice, okay? The final exam is going to be 100 multiple choice questions. Okay, so that's what that's going to be. Yeah, spelling counts. It has to count. If you're going into the medical realm, it has to. Lab errors' #1 reason is because of spelling errors, or being, you write down the wrong patient's name on your notes and then you give it to a wrong patient, or maybe the dosage, you put it in a decimal point in the wrong place is going to kill a diabetic, right? A patient's name is Smith and another patient's name is Smythe, and the only difference is that there's an E on Smythe's last name, and you didn't write that correctly. One of them has a penicillin allergy. It's going to cause issues, right? So we need to be able to spell correctly. Words like efferent and afferent. They're one letter difference, but they are totally different from each other. We've learned through this whole pandemic, symptomatic versus asymptomatic. We know that if someone's symptomatic, there's a certain protocol that they have to do. And there's someone who's asymptomatic. It's a totally different protocol. And it's only a one letter difference, right? If the doctor orders Aricept and you wrote Oricept because that's what you thought you heard, one letter difference kind of thing, or it just sounds alike. Aricept with the A is a medication for Alzheimer's disease, whereas medication with Oracet with an O is changing the pH in the person's blood. So you could see where these lab errors are because of spelling. And when you write, it has to be legible. You write down, I know in the hospitals, they do a lot of computer stuff. I get it. But if you have to write a little note to someone because you're behind in your notes and you have to give this to another nurse for the next shift and your notes are not legible and you left already, it's not good. So it has to be legible, right? Abbreviations, make sure they're abbreviations that are proper, not your personal ones that you put in your notebook, right? So I've seen people with oxygen. They want to spell oxy. Well, oxy, people might think that's oxy like oxytocin, like it's a hormone. When oxygen, the proper one for oxygen is O2. So do the ones that are acceptable, the ones that are proper, the ones that are taught to you here in A&P 1 and A&P 2. Okay, so that's what I want to say about those. So the time for each one of these quizzes or exams, lecture exams, I'll give you 75 minutes. The final exam, almost 2 hours, 1 hour and 10 minutes. Lecture quizzes, like I said, I'll give you 10 minutes to answer 7 questions. They're multiple choice. The practical exams, I'll give you 90 seconds. Basically, each station will have 3 questions, and you'll have 1.5 minutes at each station. And believe it or not, you've taken practicals before. That's pretty much what you need. If you don't know the answer, you either know it or you don't, right? As I told you, to trace a drop of blood is 20 minutes. Most students get that done in 10 to 12 minutes. And the lab quizzes, I'll also give you 10 minutes. And it's usually 10 or 12 questions, something like that. Okay? So that's what that is. Okay, so now let's turn to page 11. And that's also a very colorful page. I don't want to have students email me or have them talk to classmates on, what's the test going to be on tomorrow? Well, you should know. I mean, I'll let you know when I see you, what the week is going to be like. But you don't have to. Like, for instance, on this page, you'll see the date that the exam is, or the quiz. Lecture quiz number 5 on June 14th. It's going to be on digestion. So you got to make sure that you have digestion under your belt, right? Exam number 4 on June 26th. That's going to cover respiratory, urology, and fluids, electrolytes, and acid base. So it's all right there. So it's pretty much like this. So lecture, I kind of broke that down like this. And then the lab, like I said, practical exam number 1 is going to be hematology, cardiology, blood vessels, and fetal circulation. So if you're studying blood vessels, it's a good opportunity to also test you on the trace of drop of blood, because you're going to be, I don't want to do it the following day. You might as well do it the same day. So that's what that is. Okay. So if you don't attend an exam or quiz, pretty straightforward, and you could probably guess, there's no makeups on this. Contact me if you know in advance. I may make a rare occasion, but it's solely based on a case-by-case situation. You will surely need some kind of documentation to represent why you're not going to be there. But yeah, so that's what that is. The missed quiz or exam will count as a 0. Again, I dropped the lowest lecture exam and lowest lab quiz. So that'll be the one that you get a 0. But keep in mind, the next one will also get a 0, but that will go into the grade book. Okay. If you're late to a practical exam or a lab quiz, as I mentioned before, you gotta have respect for your classmates who are taking the tests. It's very time sensitive. They only get a minute and a half for each station. Door opens, distractions, books are down. Got to talk to you about the instructions. When the door closes, you just missed it. You get a 0. It's because of respect for everyone else. Okay. All right. Attendance for lecture. Absent 2 days, no direct repercussion to your grade. It's at your own risk, because you're also going to miss that exam or that quiz and get marked down to 0. And I talked about what that means. You're absent 3 days. I usually will talk to the chairperson and just say, this person missed 3 days. That's basically 3 weeks of material. I usually go up a little bit higher, because if you miss 4 days, that's 21% of the course. It's an automatic failure. Most students won't do this. I only see students doing this because they planned on withdrawing, right? I don't see them after, in a 5-week course, after 3 weeks, they miss every day in the 4th week, and then every day. Well, yeah. And plus, every day basically has an exam or a quiz. So they're going to be losing those points anyway. So yeah, it's automatic failure, but they're going to fail anyway. Does that make sense, right? Attendance for lab. Now, I want you to be there for lab. You'll know when the labs are. I'll tell you beforehand. I will give you 1 point for each lab session. Some of them will have 2 lab sessions in one day, and that's why you'll get 15. It'll all add up to 15 points. It's easy. It's easy points. Just be here, be prepared, just do what we're supposed to do. You're going to look at models. There is no lab reports. There's nothing to hand in. That's the way I do A&P 1 and A&P 2. Just study, study, study. There might be some adjunctive lectures occurring on your lab days, as you've seen. I may make first half be lecture, half left, half of the day will be lab. It'll be mixed up like that. Again, contact me in advance if you cannot attend. Guidance for missed work, I'll tell you what to do. Missing 1 day is like 3 or 6 hours in an accelerated course. Again, if you miss 3 lab sessions, that's 20% of the course. That would be an automatic failure. But I think because you have lecture on the same days, usually you'll be missing some lecture quizzes or an exam or something like that. So it would just mean that you would fail anyway. I don't have to do automatically. You're missing so much of the assessments. It would just do that automatically. Okay, so the bottom of page 11, that colorful page, you'll see a big blue box. And this is basically how the points are. And it's pretty straightforward. You'll see above this green line is all your lecture material. Below the green line is all the lab material. And look at the points here. Okay, they all add up to 1,000. So if you move it over 1 decimal point, so this would be, if you move, let's say this 1,001 decimal point, it's 100. So now you just broke this all down into percentages. In other words, if this is 100%, then this is 40%, 20%, 5%, 10%, 10%, 4.5%, 8%, 1%, 1.5%, right? Easy, easy math. And if you do this, it'll come down to 650 points or 65%, 350 points or 35%. And that's including I'm dropping your lowest lecture exam and I'm dropping your lowest lab quiz, but they're all there. Oh, there's the labs 1 through 7 and 8 to 14. So that's pretty much it about this. Pretty straightforward. You don't have to, and like I said, I'll put the grades in there when I grade things. I'll try and do it fast. But yeah, sometimes when you're looking at models, I'll be grading the exam that you just took that day. So like I don't like homework. So I want to try and do what I can, the best I can. All right. Okay, so on page 12, I'm not going to bore you with this. I'm going to go very fast with this. Again, just to give you the summary, the syllabus and all, and I want you to do that questionnaire. Try and do that and then submit it by attaching it. Any announcements, make sure you look at the Canvas inbox. Contact me. That's the best place to contact me, the only place to contact me. All my PowerPoints are over there and my web links to all my videos there, okay? Again, I want to reiterate about the review questions. This is the key to passing my course because you'll get an idea of my quizzes and exams, all right? Make sure you do them. There's no answer key. I explained to you the reasons why. If you jump to this, it's in the area of when I helped navigate or helped you to explore the Canvas. I explained it there. So there's no answer keys. They're found in my PowerPoints and videos. Remember, do the questions at your own pace and then meet up with one or two of your classmates that also did them. You don't want to do them together. You want to go over the answers together, okay? And this has many benefits, right? It can act as your study guide. So you can actually, write your notes on either side of the margins so that you can go back to that for your studying for your final exam, okay? So you can highlight those. It's very important to do that. I don't do study guides, I'll be honest with you. The reason why I don't, I used to do that 15 years ago, but then the students would only study what's on the study guides and nothing more. And I'm like, So if I have to make them put everything that they have to study, it becomes like a book, which is basically my PowerPoints or these review questions. So yeah, I don't do the study guides. It's just not worth it. The questions are good representation of my exam questions. And like I said, 20 to 25% of my exams have these questions on them. So I reward the students who do them, all right? And I talked about, I don't give you answers to them, but I told you how you can ask me for questions. All right, class cancellations due to weather, the snowstorm that's supposed to happen June 16th, right? That thing. No, if there could be like power outages, hurricanes. We've had situations where trees were uprooted over here. That was in October, but things can happen in the summer. Water main breaks and so forth. Again, the best way to do it is hopefully you know what RAVE is. If not, go to your Massasoit portal. My Massasoit portal. You get to a section or go search on RAVE. Sign your smartphone or your phone or email to it. And if there's a water main break, it's an umbrella email that goes to everybody that is signed up with RAVE, and you get that. You can go to your local radio stations and the Massasoit website. You could do that too. If I cancel for any reason, and I don't think I've ever canceled in my entire life, Yeah, I don't think so. When my father passed away, I had someone cover me. So I've never canceled class per se. But if I should, there's a first time for everything. I will email you as soon as I can through Canvas. And I'll talk to someone to put a note on the board. So, I'm not on board, on the door, to let everyone know. All right. So just giving you a heads up. If you come over here and there's no note on the door, check the website, my website, and see if I sent you an email. Okay. So that's that. Classroom etiquette. Pre-read the lesson before class. It's going to be so difficult to do that. I get it. That's why I try to give you guys 3 or 2 weeks before a lot of the information for the first 2 chapters. It's a lot of information. So try if you can. Lecture, quizzes, and exams, just try not to be late. Enter the classroom quietly for a lecture quiz or a lecture exam. But again, when we deal with practical exams and lab quizzes, you just, if the door is closed, you just forfeit your grade, okay? Eating and drinking. Well, our class is going to be in a lab room. That is a double-edged sword. It's a good thing because I could pull out a model when I'm talking about lecture, and I could explain things a little bit better with that. That's really nice. I'm in the lab room. I could do that. However, and it's not a big thing, you can't eat or drink in the lab rooms. I will have a table if you want to put a drink on there that is just by the door where you enter. And if you need to get up and get a drink and just drink it by the door, that's fine. I'll give you guys breaks, or during the lab when you're looking at models, if you want to eat outside in the hallway, you could do that too. It's whatever you want to do, but you can't eat or drink inside the lab room. I got to follow the same thing too. Cell phones. Okay, about cell phones, when I'm given a lecture, just keep them off or on vibrate. If you need to take a phone call, no problem. Just carry, just make, you're adults. You could just go in the hallway, or you want to go outside, you can take a phone call. It's fine. But don't have the ringer on, right? Now, when it deals with exams and quizzes, there's a zero tolerance policy for that. I will remind everybody to turn off their phones. Don't put it on vibrate, turn them off completely. I don't want to have any phones vibrating. It'll be quiet in the room. If someone hears a vibration, they'll look up and distract them from the test. Again, it's really for the respect of your classmates. If you have a sick child, I totally get it. You're waiting for an emergency room, just put it on vibrate and put it on my desk. If it goes off, I'll hand it to you, and you could take it outside in the hallway and answer whichever. So that's my rules on there. If I do see any smartphone that comes out during any exam, where you look at your smartwatch, camera, calculators, AirPods, any of that stuff, any kind of digital instrument, pieces of paper, it's just going to be construed as cheating. So just don't do it. Just do what you're supposed to, and you'll be fine. Okay. We'll bring it all the way up to the chairperson, and it's just, I've been there before many times, and it's just not a pretty picture. Cheating. Integrity, just don't cheat. It's not worth it. I'm not going to go into it. I think, you've heard all the stories about it. Just don't do it. I do bring it all the way up. It's just not worth it. Okay. I do want to mention on pages 14, 15 I did the classroom etiquette, 16, 17, top of 18. Just do that on your own. They're pretty straightforward. Things like Well, I did. No, actually, no, actually, 16, 17, 18, and no, 16 and 17 and the top of 18. So students with disabilities, basic needs, COVID-19 updates, Massasoit's Title IX statement, academic integrity, which I talked about here, course withdrawals, grade appeals, incomplete grades. That just read on your own. It's really in your student handbook also. So just be aware of that stuff. I do want to make sure you know about certain dates and put them on your calendar. May 31st, which is the day 2 of our class, okay? If you're looking at the syllabus and you are hearing me speak and this is just too overwhelming for what you have to do, maybe you're working 9 to 5 and you're coming here at 5:30 to 9, when are you going to find time to study? I don't know. That's where you have to come up with your answers. So I just want to say that Wednesday, May 31st is the last day that you could drop a course and it does not appear on your transcript, okay? If you wait until afterwards and then you decide to withdraw, you have, the week before your final, you have until June 22nd. They do wait to the last, very last, well, next to the last week. But it will show up on your transcript and it'll show up as a W. Won't affect your GPA, but it does show up. And then the final exam, the last day that we meet is really 30 days from now, which is June 29th. All right. So that's when that is. All right. And remember, you've heard this saying before, live like you're going to die tomorrow. But my teaching philosophy is learn like you're going to live forever. Even if you change your major, you don't want to be a nurse, you want to be a chef, I guarantee the test-taking strategies, the study skills, even some of the material that you learn about asthma, and God forbid your daughter gets asthma, you're going to know a little bit about this. So learn not for the exams. If you learn for your future, then I promise you the exams will fall into place. Okay? So, let me just get out of here. Okay, there I am with my 2 buddies, right? You missed them. Not me, you didn't miss me, my voice is there, but you missed these 2 guys. Well, anyway, I just want to say welcome. Think it over. I'm sorry I didn't get this anytime sooner to you. There was just a lot of things going on. I'm also teaching in New Jersey, believe it or not. I'm doing remote. Try and think that you're taking A&P 1 and 2, you know, remotely, the lab and lecture, and they got all these study guides. It's busy there too. It's not that I can't handle it. It's just that, but I did want to make sure that you got the materials beforehand. And I try to do it once a week, hoping that some late registrars got it. Okay, if I missed you, I'm sorry. Don't take, I didn't do it deliberately, but every Tuesday I think I sent something. But it wasn't mandatory to do, right? It was just optional. So I just wanted to welcome to Anatomy and Physiology 2, A&P 2. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. But you're definitely going to learn a whole lot. Okay, so looking forward to it and looking forward to meeting you. All right, bye-bye now.